Hello, everybody. This is Kyle reporting from bed because I'm sick. So, sorry, this is going to be a very low effort video, and it's because I'm sick, but that's kind of what the video is about. So, last night, we had a show. I was deathly ill. Honestly, the sickest I've ever been, but I am not about canceling shows. I just am like vehemently opposed to it. I just don't do it. So we've got this show. I'm the lead singer. I'm the leader of the band. I am the MC of the band. I do the talking. So lots of responsibilities on stage. If I'm not at my best, then the show can go awry very quickly. This is why it's important to have great band culture, and this is what it's all about. Sure, it's all related to me being sick last night, but all that did was reveal the culture of the band and some principles. First, last night was a reminder that although there are tons of great musicians, there are not tons of great bandmates. And the rest of the guys in the band, they all stepped up in huge ways. They took on way more responsibility. They did more setup, they did more breakdown, they did more singing, they did more dancing, they did more showmanship type stuff that they normally don't do to make up for me not being at my best. As the leader, that starts with me. I don't pride myself on being a great musician. I don't think that I'm one. I think I'm an adequate musician. But what I do pride myself on is giving the absolute most that I can each night. I give maximum effort and I use caffeine to help me do it. But last night, although I gave the best that I could, I obviously was not at my best. But because that over the last 5 years, the guys have seen me give my best every night, or at least the best that I had available to me, they were all willing to step up and do a great job. They helped me out because they see my dedication and effort and commitment, and that makes them much more likely to do the same. We've all seen some really good bands come and go very quickly. Going, what happened? Those guys are great. It's usually some like infighting that happens. And again, that's because bandmates that are great are hard to find. Good musicians are not hard to find. So if you are starting a band, if you've got a band and you're filling a position, I would urge you not to focus on finding the best musicians. I need you to focus on finding the best bandmates, okay? And being a great bandmate has almost nothing to do with music. Will they help you out in a pinch? Will you help them out in a pinch? And you've got to lead by example. You can't expect to have great bandmates if you are not going to be a great bandmate yourself. Another thing that has to do with preparation that will come in handy more ways than you can think of is learning other members' parts, whether it's vocal parts, instrumental parts. If you're learning a song, learn everybody's parts. Okay, honestly, it's not that difficult. But this, if you learn your other bandmates' parts, one, you will understand the song better. You'll hear it better. You'll be able to play your own parts better as you are more connected with the other parts that you've learned. But also, in a pinch, you can step up and pick up somebody else's parts. Last night, there were a lot of vocals that I couldn't do. My body just would not let me get notes out. And I felt terrible about it because I don't like giving anything less than my best. But our saxophone player, Michael, he does the second most lead vocals, and he has taken the time to learn all of my parts vocally. So there were a lot of songs, some of the low stuff I could sing. I had access to low vocals and falsetto high stuff, but all like the power range stuff, I didn't have any of that last night. But our sax player Michael, he knows all of my parts. So he stepped up and sang almost all of my like upper chest voice lead vocals last night. All of them. Okay, that makes him an extraordinarily valuable bandmate because he took the time to prepare for a situation like this, because situations like this are going to happen. You're not going to feel well every night. Some night you're going to be sick, and you want bandmates that are able to cover your parts in ways that are possible. And conversely, you need to be a bandmate that others can rely on not just for your own parts, but to step up when things go wrong. So your preparation as a bandmate shouldn't just be your own stuff. You need to learn other people's stuff, instrumentally, vocally, for setup and breakdown. Like with our band, we each have specific things that we do for setup and breakdown. Every night, our bass player does the lights, but I have learned how to do the lights in case he can't do it at some point. Our saxophone player, he does the microphone setup, like the wireless system. Well, I've learned how to do that just in case he can't do it at some point. Our bass player, we have a sound engineer that sets up the board, but our bass player has learned how to hook up all of that stuff in case that goes wrong. And our sound engineer, he knows everything. He's just a super smart guy and he's well prepared, which is why he is so valuable. So it's one of those things that if you're only prepared for the best case scenario, then when a worst case scenario pops up, you will be completely unprepared. So if you want to be successful as a musician or really in anything, you need to over prepare because those situations will arise where it's not the normal situation. Something is going wrong, but if you've already prepared for it, then it's not a novel situation for you. You already know what to do, you already know how to adjust. As an example, unrelated to music, one of the best three-point shooters in NBA history is a guy named Ray Allen. He hit the most amazing three-point shot that saved the whole series and, in a way, LeBron James' career and legacy in, I want to say, the 2014 finals. But anyway, he gets Chris Bosh gets a rebound, and Ray Allen is running backwards, doesn't look down at the three-point line. So he's in the lane, he runs backwards, catches the ball without looking down to see if his feet are behind, and lets the shot loose and hits it. That is a really uncommon shot. And people ask him about it later. He goes, I practice that. Every single practice, I practice being close to the basket and running backwards as fast as I can, catching the ball, not looking down to see if my feet are there, so that when that situation happens, I can just hit the shot and I've already prepared for it. Another thing he did, every practice, at the end, just in his own time, he'd have an assistant. He'd be lying down on the ground, and then he would jump up, catch the ball, and shoot. That's not a very common thing, but he knew that at some point he would be in a game, he would be on the ground, and be expected to jump up, immediately catch the ball, and shoot. If that's something you haven't prepared for, you're not going to be good at it. But if you've over-prepared, then when these things happen, you're going to be prepared for it. I know it's not a basketball channel, but I like sports too. And you can take lessons from sports, apply it to music, music to sports, to business, to family life, to everything. It's all connected. But it's just a basic thing about preparation. You need to be over-prepared. You need to know other people's parts. You need to know other people's responsibilities. But the most important thing, you've got to be a great bandmate. If you are a great bandmate, then other people that are great bandmates, naturally, they will be drawn to you. Okay? You don't want to draw in selfish players. You should have no space in your band for selfish players. It's poison to a band. You want selfless guys. You want people that are there for the mission of the band, to make the band as good as it can be. It takes a lot of sacrifice, it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of effort, a lot of commitment, but it's all worth it. So again, just my last little bit of advice, just reiterating, if you are a good bandmate, your bandmates will be good to you in return. And you need to always bring that energy and that attitude and that mentality to your shows. Because someday you're going to be sick as hell. You're going to be on stage, you're going to be in a fog, you're not going to be able to think straight, your playing is going to be off, your voice is going to be gone. And if you've done the preparation and your bandmates have done the preparation in turn, then the show will go on and be just fine because your bandmates will pick up the slack. And that's what I got to experience last night. I was trash 100% across the board, but the show was fine because my guys helped me.